Okay, so good to go. Okay, so doing something special today before we have a stream later on this evening for our wonderful Moose's campaign of lore. Um, just gonna try something new here. First thing you'll probably notice is this whole thing going on over here. Um, This is something I may be implementing going forward with not just the campaign, but also in other side stuff. You know, this whole stream today is a little bit more of an experiment. Basically, I'm just gonna be here. If anyone pops on, I will be answering any questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to be kind of going through token asset stuff, map asset stuff, and kind of Roll20 stuff to inspire, help, anything. So I will be checking chat throughout. So hopefully some people pop on and ask some questions, but otherwise I'm just gonna be sitting here listening to some little bit of mood music and just kind of working on some stuff. Okay, so first thing I would like to work on, and a lot of this stuff I will be doing in basic free online kind of resource stuff, so that if anyone would like to try to follow along or attempt this in your own game or stream or anything like that, it's definitely useful. Get over here, bum. Just trying to get this to work right. There it goes. Okay, close that for now. What you see on here is just a simple paint program. It's free online. It's pixlr.com, pixlr.com. It's basically like a free simplified version of like Adobe Paint or any of the other big paint programs. If you are followers of our campaign, you will notice that all of the characters and some of the NPCs have custom tokens. I would like to give another quick shout out, like I have before on stream. A lot of the base work for the tokens belong to a wonderful, awesome artist named Devin Knight. You can find his work on Roll20 and other websites. Lay down. Basically, I use them to kind of like almost like a set of Legos. You'll see what I mean as I progress, but I find it an easy way to kind of really envelop not just the audience of seeing visually their characters on screen. It also helps with scaling. I know a lot of D&D streamers, they tend to use the circular tokens, and which is fine. You know, that's perfectly fine. I just noticed that sometimes scale can be lost. In D&D, the size category may not necessarily mean the dimensions of the creature. It's just, game mechanically speaking, that's how big they are. Like, for example, one of my favorite examples for this is Ancient Dragons. An Ancient Red Dragon, in many editions of D&D, have a wingspan that is easily 100 feet wide. Yet they are gargantuan size, so they only take up a 4x4 little section. So when you look at that comparatively to your character, it just, you know, if you're using the disc tokens, it just kind of looks a little bit like, oh, it's, you know, it's 4 sizes bigger, but, you know, it's not too massive. Whereas, and I'll show an example of this. Pull up my assets. Let's pull up a red dragon to kind of show this example. Actually, let me grab a different one. Actually, you know, let's just stick with red dragons. And I'll do the side-by-side comparison of what I'm talking about. Let me just pull up a random old adventurer. Sure, female elf ranger. Going by just the size categories of D&D, this is gargantuan, 4x4. And circle tokens or square tokens or whatever you're using, you know, they'll fill in not even all of that. So it's basically like that compared to, you know, that. And that can kind of lose a little bit of feeling to it because, you know, if your character, this ranger, is facing off against this, it's like, okay, I could shoot it with a few arrows and it'll probably go down. Comparatively, if you were to actually attempt to size an ancient dragon to its actual size, and I'm going to be using the 4E measurements for an ancient red dragon, which I believe is 88 feet long from head to tail. I'm going to be doing like rough estimates for this because I'm not going to try to attempt to do it perfectly because, again, the dragon seems to be kind of sitting upright a little bit, so there's going to be a little bit of distance lost just by the angles, but realistically, how an ancient dragon should look. Let me just try this real quick. That's good enough. Considering it's on its back, it's probably going to be losing like a good maybe 20 feet, give or take. So just by, you know, comparatively these two, and funny because a lot of tokens, when you take the base of it, which is a 4x4, I'll show this little trick because this is just a funny little notice thing that I've picked up on. A lot of tokens relative, like even though you know, because this square basically represents the 4x4 that a dragon would be. If I fit this right on, like where its feet are, now the 4x4 kind of makes sense because all that excess is, you know, it's not, it's square. It's not its occupied space. Its wings can, you know, go above, its tail can move around. It's mostly just what space it occupies. So using that, like, you can, I mean, just comparatively, it's like night and day. This almost seems like a young, maybe an adult dragon, and this is ancient. So I like to do the tokens with Roll20 just because, or the more physical tokens, because, again, it's, characters see this, it's like, oh, it's a dragon. They see this, you know, that's when their buttholes tighten a little bit, you know, that's when they're like, ooh, you know, when they can see comparatively, like, that dragon may be able to eat me in one gulp, you know. Same with a lot of other gargantuan monsters. I find like the Tarrasque also, another big one where its dimensions can be kind of lost if you just, you know, kind of sit around and, you know, just have the token size. So just a quick little, my opinion on the matter. While I get ready my art and assets for what I need to do. And I'm going to be amused if no one actually watches today. But, you know, that's how it is sometimes. And if you're wondering why I keep looking over there, I have 2 monitors, so kind of bounce around a lot. I'm just gonna hide this for a second because I might get into some spoilery stuff if depending on which folder I try to open. Bear with me while I try to find this. There we go. You. Okay, open up these two. Go ahead and show this now. Basically, the project I'm working on today is in the collection that I have. I do not have, with Devon Knight, there are a few dragon types that are not available, being like brass and a few other varieties. I'm basically just going through it and trying to create a brass dragon. So I just need to go through and pick up some art real quick for it. There we go. Alright, this one last time so I don't accidentally pull anything up. You will see as I'm going through this, I am not very artistic, so just making do. Good thing about tokens are they're relatively small, so they're forgiving. But as you see here, we got just a base image of a brass dragon, taken from the Forgotten Realms wiki. Has a lot of information on that. Brass dragons have a fun little body type. They almost mirror a bit of standard, like almost like red dragons, blue dragons, with the top part right here. But you'll notice that they kind of fans to the tail, almost like a gold dragon. Which, you know, I have here a red dragon and a gold dragon. So I'm gonna try to mutate these two into a brass dragon, which should be pretty entertaining, to say the least. So let me just go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so there we got the dragon. Now the gold dragons, they kind of have like almost like an eastern serpentine kind of like, I almost call them fishy kind of face to them. With the whole beard and stuff like that. Brass dragon has more of a more angular face. And gold dragon's a little round, so that's why I have this red dragon, because I'm basically going to use it and kind of mold it to the top part to kind of create the almost crown the brass one has. So it's basically what I'm going to be doing. And as I'm working on this, if anyone pops in and has any questions about either what I'm doing or anything with our campaign, any DMing questions, whether it be 4E, 5E, I prefer questions stick to those because it's what I know more. And yeah, I'm just going to have at it. So enjoy the tedious process of turning one dragon into another. Like I can already tell on somewhat what I may do with this art. Like I may piece this together a bit to kind of form that one kind of section. Kind of how it's just all one section over here. That kind of be his crown, and I mean that's really all I should have to really do. Too much. And this is why I love Devon Knight's stuff, is because he has lots of packs and stuff like that, and what he doesn't have, with a little bit of practice and skill, you know, like you can make stuff in between, you know, for like in between. And he's always putting out new packs and stuff like that. So first off, let's just get rid of everything besides what we want. Get rid of this nice shadow work, but don't want to cause any unneeded darkness on sections. And because I'll be kind of clipping these two parts together, I probably won't go through and do the finer stuff in here, or we just leave that as is for now. Clear all this up a little bit. Gotta go real small for this section. Say diameter 2, just 2. Yep, it's a tedious process, but when your character or your players hop on that battle map and they see that dragon or other enemy staring down their face, like it just, you can't beat that moment. When that inevitable F-bomb or shite comes out of their mouth because they realize the danger they are in, you can't really beat that reveal. Better idea of how fat this needs to be. Cut that up a little bit. I'm actually content with that for now. Clear this section up over here. Okay, so now we got one dragon head. Let's clear the rest of the excess out. Don't need any of that. Just need a decapitated dragon. Okay, so one decapitated dragon head. Now, we just need to somewhat do a mirrored of that on here by removing this head. These claws are going to be a little fun to deal with. Gonna have to redo this one. Shouldn't be a problem though. Shadow work I'm not too worried about. We can always go back and fill that in later. Or we could just be a little lazy and just clear it out to make it look a little bit more soften up the shadows a little bit. So it looks like it's a little bit more of just a whatever shadow. So if it can't get it good, it won't look too weird. I'm not going to delete too much of this back part because I am going to connect a little bit to the back. Right to here, right where that flare out is. Reline that up to just kind of connect a little bit more straight. Actually, given that size of its neck, probably going to cut even more out than that, because gold dragons, they tend to have a little bit longer neck. They tend to be a little bit more, again, like Eastern inspired dragons, so like the long dragons with usually no wings whatsoever. So I'm going to cut this in a little bit, and that'll kind of be the back part right there. It's let's just hope after all's said and done, I didn't cut it too much. No, that's about good. I want to go soft with this one, so... Okay, so now we have 2 decapitated dragons. Okay, now for the fun part of playing Legos. Don't know if this body dimensions are really going to work for us here. May have to fatten the gold dragon up a little bit. Because they are a little bit more stout than... widen it just a little bit. I'm not trying to mess with the proportions of it too much. Down just a little bit more. Try to see how this looks. Yeah, that's not too hopefully bad. Again, when we're on the map, you know, depending on how old the dragon is, it may only be this big on the map. So, yeah. Even at this size, it doesn't look that bad. I have to shrink the head down just a wee bit more. Tighten it up on here a little bit more. Probably have to clear out a little bit more of that. Again, this stream is not like a master art class or anything like that. This is just showing how I do things. Even adjust this a little bit more to be at kind of an angle. Just a little bit. Okay, now the fun part. We need to adjust that to match the gold. Not bad. Maybe a little bit less. See how that looks comparatively. Make sure it's not too out of place. Not bad. I know there's other ways I could have done that easily. But, you know. Now for this part, it's going to be some very, very simple, just kind of smudge work to just kind of make this look kind of like one. Going to come through and just do a little bit of line work on the outside to make it look like it's, you know, like one solid piece right there. So just line, keep it to one. It just needs to be super thin. I don't like that. More angular. Solid with this one. Come through here and flip this off a little bit because it's kind of interfering with the shape of the head a little bit. I'm also going to move it a little bit so it's a little bit more pronounceable on the right side. There we go. Definitely not that dark. Drop the opacity down a little bit. Say a good 40. Just give it a little bit more of an angular shape to it. Again, this is kind of the perk about doing kind of like the small kind of token stuff, because, you know, I don't know if you guys can see it from here. This token's only 400 by 400, so it's very small. So it's very forgiving, to say the least. Not bad. You also got to think about things from the top-down perspective, and this crown is definitely prevalent to the sides and the front, but from the top, because it's only going to come to about his jawline right there. Maybe a little bit wider. I might be able to do that just by doing this. see how that looks. Plop it back down on his neck. Just a little bit skinnier. Just a little bit. Yeah, I don't think we're done with this. Nope. I mean, already it's not too bad. Definitely better than the fish face of the standard gold dragon. Okay, so next bit is the coloring. Coloring is going to be fun. Oops. Theoretically, I should be able to just do something like that and blend it, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. Let's undo that for now. I'm probably gonna have to do it in segments because it seems to vary from wherever it's at. So, seems about the halfway mark. Seems to only be on the wing parts as well. A little bit on the front. That's negligible since we're not going to see that, but definitely in between stuff. So let me get my little handy dandy little brush and just start painting a little bit between here. If you guys see, there's kind of like a shadow line right around here. That's basically my goal. Do that part. And then blend it, obviously. nooks and crannies a little bit, just to kind of replicate the oxidized effect that some of the dragons will have. May look a little dirty right now, but we'll clean it up. Wide on it. Okay, we'll clear that back up. It's kind of fun perk about the color replace tool is once you fill it in like this, then you can go back in with a nice soft brush and kind of blend it. Well, not really blend, just kind of get this effect going a little bit. At least the best we can do. Okay, definitely starting to give a little bit more of a brass dragony feel. Still far from over. Okay, now since we got the basic kind of, fill-in going, go back to this color. And kind of fix our errors. bit of run over isn't too bad. See any of the big ones like this one. Okay. Now also, since that's all done, I'm going to flatten the image. It's now all one gigantic piece. Yeah, that's what you said. Drop this down just a little bit. Now it's just gonna be me trying to blend this a little bit better to so it's not so just hard lined. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, is it perfect? Definitely not. I wouldn't say it is. But again, I am not an artist. I'm just a token maker. Well, not even a token maker, just token editor, Photoshopper, whatever you want to call me. Maybe do a little bit more of the smudgy. Just give it a little bit more of a blend. Make it look like it's kind of bleeding into it instead of just like, oh, here goes this random part that's just greenish blue. I don't try to do it in one swoop because then I'll just kind of put like a little triangle. I kind of want it to look like it's, you know, proceeding at different rates a little bit. Definitely need to pull this side in a little bit more. This corner piece. There we go. That's better. A little bit more work on that. See, it didn't take too long. But now I got myself at least a closer representation of a brass dragon. Yep, gotta... Oh, there it goes. Nope. Give me a second. Gotta... Oh, that's a different window, so I don't even have to worry about that. No spoilers needed. Okay. And now, since we have our handy dandy little brass dragon, come back over to the folder. Let's see how it turned out. Not that bad. Could just be me saying this, but, you know. Looks a lot more brassy than gold now. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. Yes. So side-by-side, you know, it kind of makes it a little bit more clear of a distinction between the two. Just so, you know, when my players look at it, they're not like, oh, look, a gold dragon. Sheesh. Okay, so there we have it. One brass dragon. Okay, and it seems like we will be having one of my players join this stream here, so they should be popping in. I'm just gonna go take a quick minute break. So I will be back in just one moment.
Heyo.
Hey, just about ready to have a bathroom break, so say hello. I
Hello.
guess. Yeah, I'll be back.
For those of you who don't know me, I am BoySuit47. I voice and play Conrad Havockville. Oh, yeah, I should probably get the Twitch up. Also, for those of us joined, Damon stepped away. He will be back from his bio break in a little bit.
And I have returned.
He returned. It was quicker than I expected.
I mean, you know, ex-military, we use the bathroom in seconds. Well, hey, man, you know, sometimes you gotta go, and, you know, people ain't gonna wait for you, so you gotta, like, just drop trowel and just do it real quick.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just went through the painstaking process on camera of turning a red and gold dragon into a brass dragon.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not bad.
I mean, like, you do cool work, and, I think it's cool to share it.
Well, you know, like, I've had a few people ask me, like, how do I do the token work? Because, again, not an artist.
Mm.
And I don't do anything too crazy, I don't think.
I mean, like, what you did with the Conrad, token, I think that was pretty impressive.
Here, just give me a second. Go ahead and hop on Roll20 if you would like.
Sure, 1 second.
And join this game.
Okay.
This game is a random one with nothing in it, so I can stream on it and not spoil anything.
Fair enough. 1 second. Okay, 5 testing. Oh wow.
What? Oh, this.
The dragons.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this. Go to settings, and do
Sure.
you have it to names only right now?
Settings. Let's see. Or in regards to what?
You know how it says like POI 47 and Damon stuff?
Yeah.
Do you have it showing pictures right now?
Yeah, I'm showing my picture.
Oh.
Yeah. Also, you're on cameras, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
This is the thing I'm doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's the brass dragon. Which again isn't, you know, like hopefully that bad, I wouldn't say, because I don't know if it's part of my uploads for a brass dragon. It may. Brass dragon, brass dragon. Man, I really need to clear my upload list. The last time you guys ran into a brass dragon, I basically used a gold dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And I, you know, just kind of flubbed it a little bit.
I mean, like, brass, gold, or anyone know the real difference?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Because, here, let me just, show you what I'm talking about. And bring up the camera again, or bring up all the stuff so people at home may also see. Clear this for now. Actually, let me hide this because some of my search histories could also be spoilers. Also, you know, I'm a middle-aged man. My search history may not always be the best thing to go through. These streamers all the time do it. Like, they'll just open up a browser and they'll start typing. But then you'll, like, you know, especially if the word begins with, like, a P,
Oh.
like, their search history will pop up, and it's like Pornhub and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, why would you do that? Literally takes a button.
Mm-hmm.
But just break it down Barney style,
Uh-huh.
because there is quite a stark difference. Okay, there. And what I'm showing you is official Monster Manual art.
Gotcha.
So, you'll see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
On this, choose file. Monsters. I used the one I showed you guys before. Plus just a gold dragon. I might as well save this gold dragon into my monster folder anyways, since it will probably pop up eventually. Okay, just to do a quick side-by-side picture comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Gold dragon, brass dragon. And I'll actually put them by their stuff so we can do the comparison. That's a gold dragon.
Uh-huh.
This is a brass dragon.
Hmm.
So very different.
Yeah, the gold dragon's definitely more spiky.
Well, it's more, it's a little bit longer. And it has kind of like that fish beard going on. Gold
Yeah.
dragons are, since they're the most benevolent dragon, Western culture kind of demonizes dragons in a lot of our history and lore.
Yeah.
Whereas Eastern, a lot of them, they were benevolent. They were nice. They were good things to have around. So, you know, it's one of those things that the gold dragon represents more of the Eastern variety. Whereas the reds and other ones are more the westernized version. Evil, bad, greedy, things like that.
I keep on confusing the two, but so you mind clarifying it for me? Metallics are the good ones, chromatic are the bad ones, right?
In quotes, gold dragons or metallic dragons tend to be more benevolent.
Okay.
The thing is a lot of dragons, no matter which version, they're dragons.
Yeah.
So compared to most mortal races, they look at them like, I mean, some of them view them as insects. But a lot of metallic dragons, they don't go around going like, okay, I live here. Hey, this town, you need to pay me tribute just to live here.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of metallic dragons, either they incorporate themselves into society, because there are a lot of types of dragons, brass dragons, you know, they like socializing. And there are some strange tales in D&D lore. Like, there are tales of, like, certain metallic dragons literally kidnapping people just to talk to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're kind of solitary, but they don't want to be?
Some of them. So, because you got to remember, some dragons, they live and breathe in, you know, mortal society. Some of them will take political positions. Some of them, I mean, a lot of times, if you ever run into a powerful, like, person who's been in rule for, like, a couple hundred years, and they're not an elf, you know, you might be like, huh. But, yeah, it's very, very different. Whereas the chromatic variety is just as likely to eat you, burn you, melt you as look at you. Not to say that, you know, certain types of dragons don't like, you know, or chromatic dragons don't like certain types of, you know, socializing. Because again, you have to remember, like, chromatic dragons kind of fall in line with Tiamat, and metallic fall in line with Bahamut.
Yeah, because they're kind of with that split of Io, right?
Yeah, and even though they both have hordes, because all dragons have hordes. It doesn't matter. Chromatic, metallic, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, the comparisons even come down to how they acquire their horde. Whereas a metallic dragon might, you know, like, explore or gain things through trade or, you know, like, gather things over time. A chromatic dragon, I mean, they're known to move. And when they move, sometimes they may not even take their horde with them. Wherever they're going, if they're the apex predator, they just might make a new horde by taking it from others.
So do they even, like, because, like, I imagine, like, after you build a horde, it's just too much stuff to take with you. I mean, like, so do they just, like, literally just leave it and, like, it's like, forget about it? Or is it like,
they definitely don't forget about it. It's still their horde.
Okay.
You gotta remember, chromatic dragons especially, you know, they follow Tiamat, and Tiamat is a god of greed. So chromatic dragons definitely have that, and not to say that, you know, chromatic dragons leave all their hordes behind. It's just, you know, like, they are known to have multiple caches. Especially ancient ones that are, and a lot of this comes from ancient because, you know, they're experienced, they've lived long enough time, and you gotta remember, like, some types of dragons, especially, like, if you're talking, like, white dragons. White dragons are very bestial, and they eat. And, you know, especially, like, a white one, they may not have any regard to their environment. Like a gold dragon or any metallic dragon, they might look at the land and go, okay, I need to eat, but it also needs to be sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, some chromatic dragons may get to an area and literally eat until it's all gone. And then they have to move because they still need to eat.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they'll bury their horde, leave it in their lair or just move on to the next place, taking it with them. You know, it varies.
And as I understand, just so I don't get it wrong, chromatic are like the primary colors, like
Yes.
blue, red, white, and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah, it's
And metallic are the offshoots.
basically, if it is named after a metal, it's a metallic dragon. If it's named after a color, it's, you know, yeah.
Okay. See, that's the primary. Okay. Yeah.
Even though
I sometimes get I always sometimes get it confused just because it's a fucking dragon, so it's hard for me to differentiate.
yeah, a lot of people do, but it's the thing is should your butthole pucker up if you see an ancient dragon note, regardless of its color or orientation? Yes, dragons are powerful entities, like you know, like I showed earlier on the stuff. Like again, it can be a little weird for people because let me go ahead and delete these two comparison things. Because if we go by the standard gargantuan size category for tokens and the like, this red dragon that you see right here is what you get. And say this is your little ranger, elf ranger. If you look at that, it doesn't look that much of a threat.
Okay.
Like, I mean, seriously, a group of 20 adventurers could probably dogpile that dragon and beat it.
Kind of looks like a Skyrim is like size dragon, if I had to guess.
A little bit smaller than that.
Okay.
What this is actually equates to is basically like a young dragon.
Okay. Oh. So is that gargantuan size?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Maybe like 1 or 2 more squares more. Maybe just 1 more. Actually, no, that's about good because he is kind of standing upright. This is more approximate to the actual size of what an ancient red dragon would be. Because mind
Jesus Christ,
an ancient red dragon has a 100-foot wingspan. So you know his wings are definitely tucked in. Actually, yeah, no, we could probably up this probably 1 or 2 more squares.
I guess like it depends if it's like kind of like that resting wing position versus like spread out.
Well, the thing is you got to remember, and you'll notice this the more you play D&D.
Yeah.
Like for example, this is a 4x4 square, correct?
Yes, I guess so.
So this is the base size for the dragon. So there we go. That's the 4x4.
Yeah.
Now if I take this 4x4 square and I lay it at the base, no, I don't want the dragon too. I just want the square. You'll notice something funny. See how this almost fits where it would be occupying the ground space?
Yeah.
That's kind of how a lot of gargantuan monsters are. Even though they're gargantuan size, they're not actually gargantuan size.
Okay.
Like Tarrasque, it's a gargantuan sized creature. The 5th edition monster manual lists it as 50 foot tall and 100 feet long. So if, you know, let me just go ahead and pull up the Tarrasque real quick since I have a nice little token for him already.
This is kind of smaller than what I pictured the Tarrasque would be.
Okay, so here goes a Tarrasque gargantuan size, okay? 4x4.
Okay.
Let's move this red dragon back over here. Now let's try to show you what a Tarrasque would actually look like. Because again, it's 100 foot from head to tail.
Yeah.
So...
I thought I said 100 by 50.
Yeah. It's 50 feet standing and 100 feet long.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So from head to tail, it should be about 100 feet. And again, it's kind of standing up, so it's hard to get the exact measurements because it's not laid out flat, the token.
Yeah.
But that's about close.
It's still smaller than I would have expected.
A lot of people, they tend to up the size of a Tarrasque anyways, because...
Yeah.
you know, it's a
World
world-ending
eater?
threat.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, it's, you know, it's bigger frame-wise than, you know, what an ancient dragon would be. Because I mean, look at that Tarrasque compared to that ancient dragon. Like,
Yeah.
maybe
That is true. Yeah.
this is also kind of low bond. Probably could go up 1 or 2 squares as well. Just probably leave it about there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a threat, and you know, definitely would make your butthole pucker. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Definitely.
can see the difference in the size of like, oh, because if a party, you know, especially if you're using tokens and you're only using that 4x4 thing, sometimes players, especially who don't understand the dimensions or size of certain creatures, the full effect can be lost on them because it's.
It
like,
can be. Yeah.
you know, like again, like if you're comparing this Tarrasque to this person.
You think, oh yeah, it's not
Like,
as bad as I would think.
yeah, I mean, I could mount this thing. Like this is a mount basically. Like, let's ride this biatch into battle.
If you fought the bigger one though, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Now, you know, you see this, you're like, oh, okay. Now in the monster manual, how it says it can swallow me in one gulp, I understand that.
Yep.
Because if this thing is trying to swallow people in one gulp, you know, you kind of be like, I call BS. I spread my arms and legs out to try to choke it, you know.
It's easy. I'm easily 2 bites minimum.
And, you know, that's why, you know, sometimes, like, some of the reference art and stuff like that, that I wish the Monster Manual would do more of. It's just, this is every edition of D&D.
Yeah.
I wish there was more comparative art. You know, like, because I remember, you know, like, I've shown you this before, the, it's like, this is art from, I can't remember which edition.
Yeah, you showed me that before, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, like, when you see that as an ancient dragon, you're like, holy crap, like, if that's my character, I understand.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you can even bring it up over here. Let's get the Tarrasque out of the way. Like, you know, with this token, it's pretty comparable. Dimensions are a little off. There we go. So, yeah. But if a player's only ever been introduced through, like, the tokens, or, you know, like, just squares and stuff like that, the you know, the gravity of the situation can be lost. Like, I've actually seen players before, I've seen it on streams and stuff like that, who's like, you know, the DM will introduce a monster, and the person's like, okay, we're gonna attack. And, you know, that DM goes wide-eyed, and I'm like, okay. And, you know, the people continue to attack, and then they, you know, get hit, and then the mechanics start rolling in, and they're like, holy shit, why didn't you tell us this, you know, like, was so dangerous? And that's why I prefer the, you know, spending the extra hours to make tokens and stuff like that, because,
yeah.
I mean, how did it feel when you guys first met the Brass Dragon, when Khorne blew that horn, when he was climbing over the trees like they were just small impedances?
Like, it felt like, literally like, oh, we might die.
You knew that, like, okay, this is not something we can deal with.
Exactly. I mean, like, it was bad enough, like, when we were dealing with the troll we couldn't deal with.
Yeah.
When 2 breaths in, it kills the troll, and then it's like, looking at us, like, okay, we're literally out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah. And, you know, like, if I would have, you know, had this little, because basically, you know, again, I was using the gold dragon token.
Yeah.
You know, if I would have gone like, okay, Conrad, this dragon approaches you, and, you know, again, let's say this ranger is you. Your immediate thing might not be, holy shit, submit. You might go,
yeah,
I could take that.
I mean, like, the thing is, we got to demonstrate his abilities. If we
Again,
had not, then, yeah.
But, if not, like, compare, if you didn't see what he was capable of,
yeah,
comparing that to the monstrosity that was climbing over the tree to look down at you guys.
yeah.
Yeah, it's, again, it's comparing that to, like, that.
So, I got a question then, like, in regards to, I guess, mechanics then.
Okay.
So, if the standard like token size is that 4x4. Like I guess we agreed on,
Well, for
right?
Gargantuan, yes.
For Gargantuan, yeah. But like the actual size is like that big one that you have to the right of it.
Yes.
So, in mechanic wise, is it only taking that 4x4, or is
Yes.
it like that? Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
Because like there's a few other creatures that there's actual dimensions that are listed for the creature don't technically fit in the space that it's provided.
Gotcha.
Because again, like another great example, purple worm, gargantuan creature. How much of it is actually on the surface?
I don't know.
Just that little tube that's poking out, and then it moves around and bites you. So it's gargantuan size, but if you actually pulled the worm out of the ground and stretched it out, like it could be hundreds of feet long. And like there's a lot of things with that it's mechanics over realism.
Yeah.
Because like there's constant debates. Like one that was just recently brought up when me and Miki were discussing 5e is, would a gargantuan creature like a dragon wielding a great sword cut everyone in a like a line?
Yeah.
Because of its reach and the size of that great sword, I mean that great sword could be like 30 feet long and it still be able
I was about to
wield
say, if it's like a dragon-sized greatsword, like actual
Yeah.
form size versus like transform,
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
So like if you're swinging it and the person's 30 feet away, technically you should be able to hit everyone in between because it's a solid object being swung across.
Yeah.
And then there's yeah, technically, but could you imagine a dragon wielding a sword and being able to basically just sit and spin? Just
that would be pretty broken.
Yeah. So sometimes.
But I mean, technically, it kind of do it with its tail, though.
The tail attack for 5e, and other versions as well, if memory serves, is not like a multi-attack.
Okay.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up the monster manual and we'll stick to 4e just for this instance.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is like important to have that kind of distinction between like what is physically presented to us and like what mechanically works. Because like we don't want like someone to go up to the wing thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna hit this thing." It's like, well, technically not. You're not in its range yet.
I know, and that's where the DM has to step in.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like again, that's why if you pay attention to where the feet are, like it's still basically the 4x4, and that's just my job as the DM to go, okay, you're next to it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. I opened up the monster manual and it still is not opened. I guess I didn't click it enough. There it goes. Yeah, okay, let's pull up the dragon. Next, the tail attack, depending on which one it is, it's a little different. Yeah, because for the 4E, the tail slash is basically it's an immediate reaction when a melee attack misses the dragon. In 5E, just go ahead and open up another Roll20. Let me just explore the compendium. Let's do Ancient Red Dragon. Yeah, the tail is just one target. Now, does it make sense realistically for a dragon swinging its tail in like a straight horizontal arc to hit multiple things? Of course. But, would you want to play against a dragon who can attack everyone in like a fan? Mind you, a 20-foot fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would get redonkulous pretty quick. So basically I had to tell her like, okay, well, if you did this, you would basically have to allow all the stuff in between to be attacked, and that can be broken very quickly. So that's one of the things of like realism versus mechanics.
Yeah.
Because trust me, there are a lot of things that, mechanically speaking, don't make any sense when it comes to real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know some people who max out fall speed or fall damage.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can't do more damage than X amount of number.
Yeah. Like, I think the argument they use is like terminal velocity or whatever they call it.
Well, the thing is if you really like, because depend on what's edition and stuff like that, and this isn't just D&D as a whole. Like, there's a lot of games where like the fall damage has a max, but it's technically not at a height that you would technically reach terminal velocity.
Okay.
So like when you fall, you're not immediately at terminal velocity. Like it takes a bit to like and get that speed going.
Yeah.
Or that momentum.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've had to discuss velocity, math, all that stuff.
Math.
So I mean, technically you're falling at the same speed. It's that, but yeah. So yeah, it's a little weird. And plus, I mean, it gets to a point, like, there are some, especially if you're talking, like, 5e, there are ways to basically have your character fall from, like, hundreds of feet and take almost no damage. Or still walk away from that, and I'm like, that might be bullshit.
I mean, like, there's also, like, the thing of, like, we gotta, like, if we go on going, like, for complete realism, then, like, you're just gonna kill your players in an instant, like...
No, not so necessarily. Because, I mean, there are some traps and some other things that a lot of DMs automatically override, and there are a lot of rules that are automatically just, like, like speaking to 5e again, like, like what is, like my favorite thing is what is a lie?
Okay.
Because, I mean, realistically, if someone's used to lying and it's so, abhorrent that it's gone to the point that they believe their own lies, should that person ever actually roll a bluff check? See? But in D&D, a liar, you gotta roll that bluff check. But, like, then the master bluffer comes into, like, having advantages, increased stats and stuff like that. But I mean, there are some people, and we know this through psychology and stuff like that, that are such pathological liars. To them, it's not a lie. It's the truth. Once the words come out of their mouth, they believe it.
Yeah.
And, like, you'll see people, pick arguments within, like, D&D of, like, speaking a half-truth, retaining information or something like that, and it's like, where is the line drawn on what is true and what is false, what is believed truth, what is, so it's all over the place. And so DMs have to make, rules on their own, and, some of them, they ignore the rules or mechanics that are in the game. Like, I believe 5e, with the deception, it's if someone is hiding something, that could count as a, needing a deception check.
Yeah.
But again, like, how is that, automatically, like, obvious? Because again, like, if someone is just telling you truthful information about real facts and stuff like that, even if they're not explaining or giving you everything, would you be able to tell that they were hiding something?
Another interesting thing that, like, people kind of misuse, but, like, it kind of makes sense to them at the time, is insight. Like, a lot of people I've seen, like, they do it like it's mind reading. And
yes.
It's like, well, it's not.
Like, I remember when you guys first started, like, there was a few of you guys who were like, okay, well, tell me what he's thinking. And it's like, you're not telepathic. You're not gonna know
Yeah.
that. It's
And that's like a hard habit I've been trying to break as
yeah,
well. Right?
and I know where you get it from too, because
Yeah.
not to point any names or name any, there are certain people who believe that insight should mean that the DM tells you what's in their head, and some DMs just go with it.
Yeah.
And like some people automatically jump to where if you beat an insight, it should automatically reveal all truths.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of times, especially if you're only beating the score by a few numbers,
Mm-hmm.
You may not have to go like, oh yeah, it definitely looks like he's lying.
Mhm.
Do it more subtly of like, seems like it might be holding something back, or I don't know, it's just something doesn't seem right. You're not quite sure.
One other thing that like also is kind of just like going off that point, right? Nat 20s on inside checks, like sometimes like it's just like straight up like, oh, you see this person's soul, everything, and it's like
that's
do
another
you know?
issue.
Like,
I do have an issue where some DMs equate a natural 20 to automatic success.
yeah.
The thing is some things though should be just outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Like if the barbarian of the group, and we'll stick with 5e since most people understand that system a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like he could have up to a 24 strength score. Okay.
Yeah.
And he rolls a 19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, that's going to be a 26 plus whatever bonuses or any other stuff he has. And say the DC is 28.
Yeah.
Because it's this epic, almost godlike lock. Or chain or something like that. And it's like, okay, well, you failed. And then the wizard steps up with a -2 to their strength score. And they roll an at 20. And it's like, and somehow the wizard just walks up and breaks the chain apart. And it's like,
yeah.
What? Like,
yeah.
Wait, back up here. How the hell did that happen? That's why, like for 4E, and even like if I ever go to like DM 5E, like I'll probably provide like a bonus to it. So your score plus a fat bonus to denote that you got that very lucky chance. And if that doesn't beat the DC by a few, then I'm not gonna let you do it, because it just makes no goddamn sense. Because you'll hear about stories like that all the time when someone who's geared towards something fails to do something, and someone who literally has no bonuses in something gets an at 20 and succeeds. It's like that doesn't seem right.
Doesn't seem right. Like, and like,
you being
I mean, like there is that, like, like kind of like I said, there does definitely deserve some like reward, like mechanical reward to it. But it's not like you are like defying like reality at that point either,
Yeah, and some DMs, they gotta understand that just because it's a natural 20 doesn't mean that you have to give that boost to what they're currently doing. You could also shift that luck a little bit. Like, okay,
it's actually something I like what you do actually.
Yeah, and like, okay, the wizard tries to move it. Well, you try, you don't really do it, but as you're reaching behind it, you feel like a recess in the back of what you're trying to remove. And you reach in, oh, you find a hidden compartment with a little bit of gold in it. Like something to where it's like, oh, the person got something, but it's not like dumb. Like a little reward here and there, or like I also don't like because I find also that the same, again, different tables for different rules, and everyone, they can play how they want. This is just my own personal opinion. I also don't like how DMs will punish, or either way is true, is where they will blatantly reward a natural 20 even if it's an impossible task. But not punish a nat 1, or vice versa. Like, I've seen DMs who punish for a nat 1, but don't offer anything special for a nat 20. And I've never quite understood that, because, like, if 20 is special, then a 1 should also be special. Because, again, critical success and failure. And, like, again, like, you don't have to always have the same thing. Like, a failure should not automatically denote, that they hurt someone else or they hurt themselves, like have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You know,
like, and also like you gotta take into account scores. Like, if a guy who has like a real high score,
yeah,
gets to that one, then it's like, well,
he
he's
still might
basically rocking.
succeed. He just
Yeah,
something embarrassing or something might happen.
yeah,
Like going back to the barbarian example, like barbarian super high score and stuff like that. Like he goes to like move like a something like a stone or break down like a simple wood box or anything like that. It's like, okay, yeah, you break it open, but man, you really hurt something in your back. Your next strength saving throw or strength check is going to be at a disadvantage.
yeah.
There you go. So like it doesn't always have to, like 20s don't automatically have to be success, and ones don't necessarily have to be, complete failure. Because again, like if it's a menial task, it doesn't really make sense that the barbarian would fail to do it. Like, and it works in any instance, honestly. Like another popular one is like thievery check, unlocking something. Okay, yeah, you're a really good locks pick, and even with a nat 1, you still technically beat the DC of the lock. Okay, well, yeah, you unlock it, but your thieves' tools broke. So
Yeah, which literally happened in lore.
yeah, so until you get another chance to do it or get a new set, you're not gonna have your thieves' tools. So like there's always things to do like that. It doesn't have to be such cut and dry, and that's why I always tell people, like, just because you get into D&D because of a stream doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow their way or methods of stuff.
Everyone has their own take on it, and that's kind of like the fun of it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things people assume is part of D&D, but if you actually read the rules, it's not.
Yeah.
So it's I always suggest people to don't just base D&D off of what you see. Read the rules, try to learn them, things like that. Read the DMG, read the PHB and stuff like that. Understand what the intent was, and if you want to change stuff, then go ahead.
Yeah, it's like, what do you call it? The word of the law versus spirit of the law kind of thing.
Yeah, but I also think people should have what the intent was, because I know a lot of people who see Unexpectables or TFS at the table or Critical Role, and they're like, okay, this is how it's played, and like they may not cover everything while watching it, so they might run into an instance where it's a unique situation.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to think about what the rules are to allow it, they just go, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
There's lots of different instances. I just think people should, you can do whatever you want with the table, especially if you're a DM, but at least have a good understanding of the intent of the mechanics and rules, or down the line you can have some really broken stuff. Not to name any names, but like some people will see a stream of D&D where that DM is doling out lots of magical items or money or stuff like that, and that's what they think it's about. Not understanding that DM also has like stuff in place to check that mass amount of money. Not to name any names, but let's say adventuring group below level 5 for 5e gets their own mimic ship and tens of thousands of gold. Like, that's something a player of that level should not really have, or what's the point of doing anything?
Also, hello, Mamiki.
Oh, you joined?
She's on the chat.
Oh, I should have looked over to that. Hi, Miki. Hi. Didn't know you were there.
No, she just got home.
Yeah. And like they may have things in place, like when that party gets to like shore or something like that into the city, they might have to pay like dock expenses, things like that, maintenance, supplies for the vessel, things like that, to where that money that they just got is quickly whittled away until they're kind of down to what they should have for their level.
Yeah.
But someone not understanding those mechanics or rules rules or the concept, because even in the DMG for 5e, 4e, doesn't matter. Like, it talks about stuff like that. Like, you can reward something higher, just balance it out. And if you do want to go like high fantasy, there's tons of magical items all around. You can do that, but bear in mind the kind of results of that. Like, you may have an adventuring party who finds like, oh yay, another +1 shield. Oh yay, another wand of magic missile. Like, it gets to the point where they don't feel any accomplishment for doing anything.
Yeah, because if they're kind of they get kind of spoiled.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I got this sword that can strike lightning down my enemies, then why do I give a shit about +1 shield?
Yeah. And like with the whole gold and stuff like that, and like the ship and all that stuff. And I'll say that DM sees this stream of this DM doing that, not understanding all the mechanics and stuff behind the scenes that they have to deal with. Now does that in his own campaign, and now he's wondering why no monsters he sends after them is a challenge, because they're all decked out head to toe, because instead of paying expenses, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go to this magic shop, we're gonna get this crafted, we're gonna buy all these potions, we're gonna buy all these scrolls, and it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, I'm sending the CR of the stuff that it's supposed to be for the level of this group and the size, but they're like melting them. And so that's why I always tell everyone, like, don't base anything off of what you see, because at any point any DM can house rule something and you may not agree with it or understand why they did it. So always take the time to read the DMGs, the PHBs and stuff like that. Most tabletop games, that's kind of how it's divided. They have like a player book, the DM book, and then like a monster book. Like at the bare minimum, the base core books you should read. And yeah, they can be time lengthy and a time suck, but there's always stuff you'll learn and stuff like that, or remember, or like I mean, it was like a week ago I was looking in the 4E DMG and I was like, holy crap, I forgot about this. And then I'm like, oh, I'll have to remember this going forward. I'll try to implement it here.
And what's interesting, because like as you kind of said, like a lot of people kind of base their games off what they see, and they these kind of things get out of control. I think that's why out of all, because I hear a lot of people who play games, and I think that's why they never go beyond level 10. That's my personal opinion.
Why? Because things get out of control?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I haven't yet to hear anyone who's like, besides from you, obviously, who said their guys are level 20 or anything.
Well,
it's just
again,
yeah.
I know you're not a huge fan of them, but Critical Role, they finished their campaign at level 20.
I meant more of the common person.
Well, I mean, some of that can also be time constraints and stuff like that, because I mean,
sure,
if you're starting from level 1 to 20, you're talking about years of playing.
Yeah.
And,
that's true.
It can be difficult sometimes to find a table that you're willing to stay for years at a time, to invest money into, and stuff like that, because, DMing can be expensive, it can be time lengthy, and, there's been a few DMs who joke about it or say, like, it can be either a part-time or a full-time job. And so, some DMs give up because there's like, I'm doing all this work, and, no one's ever helping. So, there's a lot of factors into that. And even the wow factor can sometimes be ruined by watching streams. Because if you watch Critical Role, and you're a huge fan of it, as a player who's never really had a lot of experience playing D&D, you may go to a table and you're expecting that. You're expecting everyone to have these well-polished characters with voices, art, and all this other craziness, but you might get a table with just people in a simple grid map, no miniatures, just saying, okay, you're here, and they may feel disappointed or think like, oh, you're doing it wrong because you're not doing it like Matt Mercer.
Yeah, actually, that is also another thing I've heard. A lot of people are trying to immediately, even from the get-go, they want to compare what they're seeing to their games they're playing. It's like, well, not every DM and can afford to do that, and like not every group you're not going to find the best group of the bat.
Yeah, and like sometimes it takes some trying, and sometimes the table isn't right for you.
Yeah.
Recently we had one of our players make an exit,
Mm-hmm.
and it mostly came down to it was not the right fit for the table. And
Yeah.
you'll have that because you may have a group that is heavy RP, maybe only gets into battle like every like 5 or 6 sessions, and it's much more the RP political style. And then have someone who's just all about the murder hobo, get me in a fight, that's all I care about. And like that person may always want to try to push into fights, start trouble and stuff like that because they want to fight. And like that might not work, and it can potentially ruin your experience of a tabletop RPG.
It can, yeah.
Like I remember the first time like I played Vampire the Masquerade, it was against a table that was like they did not even have like fully filled out character sheets because it was almost all RP. And like I had built a character that was more combat focused because that was his story and stuff like that. I still had me and my characters, there's still tons of story in RP. He was just geared towards more combat. He didn't care about socializing. That was the character. And it was very disappointing for like no one let me know. Also, that's another thing. Expectations should be just outlined. And like it was kind of disappointing for me because I spent all this time like creating a character, and it's like, okay, and now we're doing all this social stuff, all this political intrigue between all these princes of these cities, and now I have a character that's basically just following behind the party of the people who are actually talking, doing the trade-offs to do all that stuff. And it basically was just me sitting in and being like, okay, we need you to look big and scary because you're big and scary.
Hello, Miki.
Yeah, rawr.
Hello. I literally just finished work and popped for you guys on.
Yeah, I figured out just do just a stream. No game, just talking. I did a little bit of art earlier.
It's funny because I messaged this in the general chat, but I mean, like, people like to see the stuff, the behind the scenes, like the DM working, that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, it's funny because like we already have as much viewers as like a normal stream. So I hope people stick around later for our actual D&D stream, which is gonna start here in 3 hours, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
11 p.m. if you're British.
Yeah. Pat.
I got it. Pat. Yes.
So like you just gotta be open with each other, and if the table's not a right fit, don't feel the need to stick around just because it's a table. Because I mean, especially if you have a computer, you don't have to be limited. Because I back in like when I first started D&D, there was no online D&D. It was all, I mean, there was a few text-based things that were starting to pop up. And, I tried getting into that, but I always ran into tables where people were obviously cheating. Because it's text-based, so people are rolling on their own, and it's like, oh, wow, this is my third nat 20 in a row. And then they roll 2 non-nat 20s, and then it's another nat 20, and then it's like 2 mundane rolls and another nat 20. It's like, something doesn't feel right about this.
You don't roll below 15 for some reason.
Yeah, and so it was, if you found a table, like even if you didn't 100% gel and it wasn't 100% what you wanted, you're kind of stuck. But now with Roll20, Fantasy Ground, things like that, and a lot of the big text-based chat things, I mean, Roll20 is free. Like, go in there and you can play D&D right off the bat with Roll20. I mean, like, that's all you need. Dice roller and, a way to talk back and forth.
Even then, if you want the whole dynamic lighting and all the pretty effects, it's super cheap.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
And, like, it's nowadays, like, you shouldn't feel so compelled to stick it out. If you're not liking the table, you're not gelling with the players, you're not gelling with, like, the campaign, the setting, what it represents. Like I told you guys all from the get-go, this will be one of the hardest campaigns you will ever do. It will go very dark, very serious, but there's also the lighthearted stuff, and like there will be moments to be making fun of each other, or getting drunk, punching each other in the face. Like there'll be that bathhouse near orgy moment, or there's gonna be that moment where you guys feel so small because you fucked up, and people are holding you accountable, or you get someone killed, or you do something that's you're not supposed to do, or like any of that. Like I grew up on a lot of fantasy novels where like the hero struggled. So that's how I kind of like to play it, and like because of the group I played with in the army, like we were all experienced gamers, so we could kind of amp up the difficulty. And like that when I was creating the setting for Elois, and I started coming up with the concepts, I immediately realized that anything in Elois, because of its history of being like center stage for most mass wars in history, everything that exists there should be a little bit more stronger than normal. Like it should be a little bit more difficult. And so that's what I said. But that's why you have to have those expectations out, because I mean, could you imagine if I told you guys nothing about the campaign and just some of the stuff that has happened? Like there might be some people who might not feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I gotta back the hell out because this is not cool. Like some campaigns deal with, like characters being imprisoned, tortured, raped. Like there can be very hot subject matters that people might not feel comfortable with. So that's why you have to let them know, like, okay, there can be a lot of darkness in here. Anything that exists in the real world, as far as bad juju or like shitty things that can happen, it can happen here. So that way, if a character or a player is like, because I do remember one player I used to have, won't name any names or anything like that, but she had a history with a sexual assault, and so when we went to go to those scenes, like she knew they were there, and she would just basically like, okay, if you guys are gonna do this, I'm gonna step away. And you don't want to force stuff onto people, so yeah, I've seen some horror stories. Like there are Reddit posts and stuff like that. There are YouTube videos and series dedicated to RPG horror stories of players and DMs dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot of it could have been avoided if people just talk.
Yeah.
Like there's a funny video on, let me just pull up the guy's actual channel name so I can give him a shout out. Crit Crab. Crit Crab, he has a YouTube channel. It's all one word, just Crit Crab. Like he basically takes Reddit posts and kind of reads them aloud, and some of them he'll give his own take. And one of them is about a player who gets screwed over by a group of furry players. And again, he even prefaces it in the video like he understands that not every furry or anyone would act this way. It's just this particular group where he basically, the DM told the guy that, hey, we're doing this one, I think it was like Minds of something. I can't remember, and he was basically stating like, okay, this is the module and stuff we're doing, and he didn't really give him a lot of like work up to it. He didn't really give a lot of details, so he was like, okay, I'm gonna roll like a human character, and then he gets in to play with the group, and he finds out that all of the other players were playing anthropomorphized animals, like either tabaxi, dragonborns, or like whatever. And that in his campaign world, humans are oppressed. And, like his character was many levels lower than the rest of the party. Every task that he was trying to do kept getting shot down. And there seemed to be a lot of bias, for his character outside of just the world oppressed humans, because the world oppressed humans should not factor into when the character is looking through, like, an enemy camp. Like, there's not just a dragonborn with his arms crossed staring at him like, oh, so you're looking in that bag? Are you sure you should be doing that? And distracting him and stuff. Like, there's none of that, so it should just be a straight roll. And, like, as a, not even just as a DM or a player, like, just as a person, that's fucked up. Like, to not let this person know, like, hey, if you're going to play a human, keep this in mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's already been revealed that one of our players is a, changeling. And before they picked that, I had to let them know, like, okay, here goes what you need to understand about this race, and things that you have to deal with. Because, I like to let them know, like, what to deal with. Same thing with Amiki and Ruia. Ruia is a drow. So before she created that character, I had to let her know, like, okay, as a drow, just to let you know, people are going to look at you differently. Like, a lot of base races are more like humanized towns, like Latesse, Celestia, things like that, Throgrimir, that are more good aligned, more human settlements. If they see a drow, they're immediately gonna go like, "Ooh, a drow." Like,
especially Throgrimir, yeah.
Yeah, Throgrimir is just.
You wonder why in the first session that Ruia wanted to keep her hood on all the time.
Yeah.
But no, Comrade wanted it down.
Yeah, so there's you have to set those expectations and let people understand, because you don't want to just come out of left field and just be like, like in that horror story post that he did, like, guys playing, going through all the motions, and then over the session realizes like something ain't right here. So it's one of those things. Set expectations, communicate, and don't feel like you're trapped. I mean, there are so many like looking for group posts on Discords, Reddits, Roll20s.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things to acquire this stuff that you shouldn't feel stuck.
It's like you know this, but my favorite race, like Henjokai. You play one of those, and you are going to be hunted down for any stupid reason. But like, it's like. I was going to say, you explain it because you're better at this sort of thing.
Well, I was stabbing so you could. Hengokai and lore, like, there's a lot of tidbits throughout, like, D&D and different editions that Hengokai, there's not.
I actually never heard of the race, so.
Yeah, it's an animal race. You're born as an animal, and then over hundreds of years, you can transform into a human form and a hybrid form. They're kind of like a magical beast. And the thing is, they are super rare.
Okay.
Like, and because of certain events and like the settings and stuff like that, like Hengokais, like in my campaign world, the one that you guys are currently running into, there was an event in a previous campaign that caused Hengokais to almost be wiped out off the map. So there are literally only like dozens of Hengokai that still exist in the world you guys are in.
Okay.
And part of the lore of Hengokais is there's a lot of myths about them. Like, there are some people who believe that if you kill and consume a Hengokai, you can gain immortality. So, like, there's that with a lot of things. Like, a snake oil salesman says, like, oh, this potion is filled with this, and someone hears that as a rare thing, and now all these people think that, killing, chopping up, and eating a Hengokai gives you super fast reflexes, or whatever. And so a lot of these myths, happen. On top of that, there are a lot of magical and more not normal races that can be used for spell components. Like, pixies can be used as spell components. Hengokais can be used for spell components. Like, there's a lot of creatures like that, like mages, wizards, and other arcane practitioners may use parts of them for spells or, things like that. So, Hengokai, if you're a Hengokai and people find out about it, if your DM does not have people hunt you down, then either they've changed something about Hengokai or something's wrong.
Yeah.
I do like them.
Yeah. Also, apparently, a drow are also on that spell components list, given Ruya's deal with Melanoides.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good book and it was a good offer. I had to take it.
And heck, you don't have to pay up on it now, so.
Yeah.
Who says you already haven't?
See, we checked this. We went to the bathtub and I had no scars.
Yeah.
That would suggest it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you also know.
It's
that
not missing any
magic
fingers
works.
or.
I also did. I mean, you could also ask the one person who was supposed to be there, which you never did. You do realize there is a direct person you could ask to potentially get the response.
Yeah, I kind of don't want it though.
She'd rather keep it a mystery.
Then that is your choice.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
My girl's under enough stress. She doesn't need any more stress.
She doesn't have to worry about the missing finger that happened the other day.
Yeah.
Nope.
Why do I get a feeling it's gonna be like, I don't know, one day Sim forgets to do like a minor illusion thing and you just see like Rui with no arms, no legs, just stuck on a
Okay,
a makeshift
you
wheelchair.
do realize how that wouldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, but Din's a smart ass and you know, he's got plans.
You'd basically, I mean, Ruria would know off the bat. And I hate to say it,
Would
like
she?
the other, was that?
Would she really?
Yeah, because you try to move your legs and you're not moving your legs.
Yeah.
I know, she's had memory loss before. She could always have it again.
But repetitive daily memory loss in the
It's not like
moment-
he's wiping your mind every second, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to say it, how many... Okay, imagine what it would be like climbing on those carriages if you were wheelchair bound.
That is true.
Imagine all the things that you've done since then. I think Jacques would have noticed.
Yeah, he definitely would have noticed.
I don't know, he's been in the coffin for quite a while.
I think he meant during certain times.
Here's
I like
respite.
ignorance is bliss.
No.
Ignorance.
Conrad would have known, Nat would have known, they would have known.
Yeah.
You can have your own headcanon as whatever you want, but you're not wheelchair bound.
Yeah.
That's good, DM confirmed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about that's one less worry on the list.
Yes.
I'm surprised you guys don't ask other questions about stuff in the past.
Oh, like what?
Anything, really.
See, it's just because it's so broad, it's hard to tell what's what.
Well, I mean, you know, I've done. You guys have done a lot in the campaign. We're 60 episodes in,
Yeah, I know.
but you know, like characters and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of plot threads that you guys just never followed.
Yep. We're horrible
I
at
have a
following
question.
clues. Yes.
Yeah.
Your question, Miki?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, question of the like how to say to ask is like, what is the meaning of life?
Depends on which god you ask.
That is true.
In my case, it's death. Meaning of life
Yeah.
is death. Yeah.
There you go.
It's not
See?
just
answer.
Because you got to think about what that means philosophically.
Mhm.
Because you could also interpret that yes, all meaning is death eventually, but that also means that you know you're going to die, so you might as well live life as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live it to the fullest.
So you know, like you gotta remember, Raven Queen is just the process of death. Like even like a lot of them, you know, that's why Maria, without me saying anything to you as a player, you understand that death is just a process. You know, like that's why Maria's usually probably the least freaked out about death in the group, because she probably has the most understanding of, yeah, we all die, and then the Raven Queen will take you into her embrace, and you know, you will pass through her domain and venture onto your afterlife.
And then she pokes you with a stick and you become flowers.
Or mushroom, depending, you know, depends on where
Depending,
you're at.
yeah.
Or tries to shake like her leg off because Conrad's just clinged onto it because there's now an army of ghosts or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that message the other day about going to the Shadowfell. I was like, ooh, yeah, you guys would not last there.
Nope. Yeah, that was. It's funny because like I joked about this, like, and it's kind of true. I'm like one of the only guys who picked a fear that actually has in-game consequences.
I mean, you picked one, but that doesn't mean that you're the only one with issues.
Fair enough, yeah.
I mean, you remember the times that Amiki has freaked the fuck out, or Maria has freaked the fuck out. You know, like when at the Lake Io. Yeah, people have issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, you know, like children and family would probably be a touchy subject for Nat for quite a while.
Probably, yeah.
Also, her relationships might be a little bit, you know. Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys even just saw it recently with, you know, like Reina. You know, like, you guys saw the stark difference of like, oh, I'm the Sultan's right-hand man, and like, we're always gonna be playing and gonna be doing all this fun on it. And then she gets back and she was hit with that, like, you know, that, oh, I made daddy mad.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw that stark change. So everyone has those triggers.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
If you spend any time creating a character for any tabletop game, you know, you're gonna have something like that. If you don't, then you're playing someone with no issues, and me personally, I don't see that as fun, because you know, like, even if you look at some of the most greatest tales and epics of our time, of heroes and stuff like that, they always had a flaw or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's that humanizing quality that, you know, we can relate to, and it gives it that sense of realism.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
like,
why Shaq has all the issues.
Yeah, Jacques has so many issues.
Yes.
That guy could have a lifetime. Well, he's a vampire, so lifetime is relative. But he could have a lifetime of counseling and still not fix half of his issues.
Yeah. I feel like if you ever went to like a therapist, like they would just like
at the end of it, like the camera pans to him, like he's just sitting on the couch, fingers crossed, just. And yeah, so that was the time that I was, you know, stuck in Titherion for unknown amount of time. And then he looks over at the psychiatrist, and the camera pans over, and it's just the feet of the psychiatrist hanging.
No.
Like, just, like, oh, God, another one?
Shit. Well, at least I get to keep my gold.
Walks over to the psychiatrist's desk and takes all the hard candy. Well, I guess you won't be needing this anymore.
D&D is fun.
Yay! I think like this is like kind of like I think it was just kind of like a funny moment because like comrades bitched about it a lot, but like Paylor, like when Alphine was just like ranting about Paylor, and I'm like, I was just imagining comrades just like there, like, oh yeah, you know, I totally get that, and, you know, he's like, you know, having his drink, just like, you know, like,
well,
yeah,
she only talked it for that little bit, and then she just sidelined it to just talk about randomness.
Yeah, but I just imagine for that brief period, he was just like, yeah, I got you.
Preach it, sister. You're like,
yeah.
Again, well, here goes maybe an insight, because whereas you just had to deal with his followers, you've never had any like a direct dealings with Paylor himself. Like, from what you know of Alphine and Delphine, is there's much more of a stronger direct connection. Like, these ones may have actually met the motherfucker.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a chance to explore that side a little bit more, and maybe get some insider knowledge and insight.
Yeah.
Maybe a DM was like, maybe this would be a good opportunity to introduce this and go like, boom, work through some shit.
It is interesting though, because like I actually didn't like consider, and this is probably like my own like failing, of like, you know, because I knew that Delphine was a Deva, but I guess I never thought to ask what she was a Deva of.
Yeah.
You know. And then when he said Paylor, I'm like, oh shit.
And you know there's probably at least 4 sisters.
Uh-huh.
At least. Unless they started skipping letters.
Mm-hmm.
It's Alphine, then they skipped 2 letters, then they went Delphine, then they skipped 2 letters.
I'll also say this: if it is just literally, literally the alphabet and then theme, Taylor apparently wasn't very imaginative when naming his kids.
Well, again, like it's weird, because they're probably not like his children.
Yeah.
It's probably like an exarch or another high, tiered angel or someone in his service that yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because then technically, I don't think they would be a deva; they would actually be a demigod at that point.
Okay, yeah. So it's not really like direct father; it's maybe like grandfather or uncle or whatever you want to call it.
Sort of, yeah. And they might not even have a direct relationship. That's kind of like a lot of how ASMRs are kind of set up in 5e.
Yeah.
Because they actually do have an Empyrean, which is a monster in 5e. Miki knows about it. That is literally like a half god.
Okay.
And so like Empyreans are basically children of gods. For lack of a better term, and there are actual like characters and stuff that are children of gods, and they, in a lot of D&D lore, they make a stark difference between them and other angelic and divine beings.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Like one is, like I've always looked at it this way in a lot of my campaigns, is one is literally like I created this, the other one is, this is part of me. Like this is actually like a piece of me, almost like how children are. Children are half and half. So, there's usually going to be something mixed in between, whether it be a mortal or something else. Whereas,
yeah, because like in the case of Halo, a woman plus the son would. I can imagine that would be kind of difficult.
You got to remember, gods can take avatar form.
That is true, yes.
And you got to remember, his domain is the light, the sun, fire, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Is he actually the sun? I guess you could make it in your campaign setting. No. The sun that you guys look at every day in Eolus is not Paylor just floating around.
Okay.
Yeah, like he actually has his own place in his, shit, I can't remember where his domain is off the top of my head. I want to say Mount Celestia, but that could be wrong.
Okay.
But like he has his own divine domain, just like any other god. Because you got to remember, in a lot of campaign settings, especially like core stuff, there's a separation in almost every campaign setting between the world of the gods and where the mortal world presides.
Yeah, of course.
The divine gate, the divine lattice, the divine barrier. It's something, fantastically named. And it's what keeps all the devils, demons, aberrant creatures, and gods from just like, hey, guess what? We're fucking around with you guys today. That's why devils and demons and stuff, they need to be, summoned or called to our plane. That's, why they have cultists and stuff like that to, call it in. Like another great example is, this is official material. I don't know the entire story of Rise of Tiamat stuff, but I just based off like the cover art for it, like there's that picture of like it looks like a robed cultist, and it looks like like Tiamat is rising or being summoned. And that's how it works, is like they can't just appear, they have to be called into.
Yeah.
And like it's basically like picture like just a barrier, the entity on one side and the mortal on the other side. You kind of have to play telephone to create that opening, and then they can pass through. Otherwise, they're just beating their head against the barrier, going like, "Let me in."
By the way, Miki, not to call you out, but are you snacking?
She's always snacking.
Okay.
I also
I'm hearing like these.
I also like how after you asked her, she swallowed. She was like,
Caught.
I'm going to put it into context for everyone. I have been home for about half an hour from work.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I was also having a drink. I wasn't snacking. A caramel frappuccino.
Nice.
I'm having my tea that I'm sure Miki would just love.
I know, which one?
Are you still watching the stream?
Yes, I can see your webcam.
Oh, is it that
not
Pure Leaf
no,
one?
Oh no.
That's not tea. No.
This tea is cold and there's a little bit of creamer in it.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Don't knock
tea.
it till you try it. This is
No.
delicious.
I'm British. That's not tea. If one person in this group knows about tea, it's the British girl.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure another group that might know about tea would be probably, I don't know, India.
Yeah.
And those
But as far as I
countries
remember,
around
none
there.
of us are.
Well, the
I
thing
said
is,
this person in the group, though.
oh,
Yeah. I'm like, I don't think any of us are Indian, just so you know.
you know what? I actually think I might drink more tea than you, Amiki. So if anything, I think I should know more about tea.
No.
Yeah.
No. Tea is in the British blood.
What are you talking about? Tea is British blood.
Exactly.
Like, I got thirsty every time she had to prick her finger while she was visiting. I was like, ooh, I'm really thirsty for tea all of a sudden.
It's in the air.
I can hear it calling in the air tonight. Oh, that's... No?
No.
No Phil Collins?
Oh Lord.
Oh, Lord. I can hear it. Yeah. So any other questions for me?
No.
Really? How about
I
anyone
was just kinda
watching?
chatting.
Anyone watching have a question? I will discuss any D&D topic or tabletop discussion or anything. I know there's at least a few of you, so, you know, speak up. You know,
I'm actually wondering if it's counting me and Amiki on here.
it is. But let me see, 1, 2. So there should at least be one person. And even though, like, the watching now, it doesn't make sense because if I look at the list, it says like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I know at least 2 of those are bots.
Hmm. Oh. Do you have any burning DM questions, Amiki?
I've already posted my question.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah. I'd be good.
Technically, you guys already sort of have, but I decided to hold off on it.
Am I guessing it was a private question?
No, she
I know,
she
I put
literally
it on a
typed it
Twitch
in
chat.
Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we? I see it.
See, and you give us crap anytime we ask about that in Doggos, but you as a player ask all the time, so I don't want to hear crap. Actually, remind me,
Yeah,
Conrad,
but there's
next
been like
time,
3
next
sessions.
next time, has it been less than 3 times since sessions since you last asked me that? See, she's
Yes.
not answering.
I had to think.
So, Conrad, remind me, next time she goes to DM Doggos, you know, we gotta ask her if we're leveling up yet.
I mean, like, I never asked that question, so, I mean...
I have done the counts for the Doggo XP. If you do the entire module and you do every single encounter and every single
Level
possible
5?
encounter, everything. Let me get my book because I actually have a book of this.
Yeah, I mean, we're level 3, though. I mean, how we're going to skip 2 levels?
I mean, the module, it's, you know,
It's huge.
it's
Fair
pretty
enough.
sizable.
Gotcha.
Let me just quickly grab my book of math.
A lot of modules, especially like kind of dungeon-focused modules from 5e,
Mhm.
it's a lot of the combat counters are relatively close together.
Makes sense.
Okay. So let me get the numbers. Yeah, in total, if you guys did every single encounter in that dungeon and killed everything, you would get 8,120 XP total between you.
Like, to
us.
divide up, or, like, each person?
Each person would roughly be about 1,400
That doesn't sound right.
divided by 6.
I get that, but something about that doesn't sound right. Have you also included the random encounters?
Those don't include the random encounters.
Okay, so it's probably going to be a lot fatter than that.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that's minimum.
In a
Well,
lot of the
minimum if you
modules,
kill everything.
they have standard rooms where basically it's a blank room with nothing really specific in it, and so the DM has to roll on what's in there.
Gotcha.
And, you know, like,
Yeah.
a lot of them, like, you'll see some of them where there's, like, almost like a 30 to 50% chance that monsters will be in there. So you have to guess that at least half of those rooms, you know, a third to half of those rooms will also have monsters. Plus, you know, there's all the RP and stuff as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're probably pushing to around 22.
You will level up by the time this module is completely done.
Fair enough.
I mean, let me see. Also doesn't count if one of us die, because if one of us dies at the beginning of the module, the XP is going to be divided very differently.
Yeah, then we get more XP. Yay!
Well, also, remember, DM, you can also, since we're going to have a pretty hefty party, you can throw a few more monsters in any encounter.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that.
Well, you probably will have to, just because otherwise we'll get into the room and it'll be the repeat of that side stuff we did where Damon Druid basically went through and cleared an entire dungeon by himself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did. Literally went up to the boss bugbear, thinking, oh, we'll just scout out ahead and type in, I'll clear out anyone and then we can go to the big boss room. No, he killed the boss in, 2 turns.
Yeah.
By accident. Not realizing that it was a boss.
Okay, to be fair, okay, I didn't get the description of the room first. You know, like, I just was like, oh, enemy, let me go kill it. You know, I wanted to get the surprise. So, you know, it takes time to look around. So I just wanted to quickly deal with the threat and just, you know, then look at it. So I killed it, and then I was like, okay, well, what's in this room? And she's like, it's basically like a large bedroom. I was like, oh, a bedroom in this location of a dungeon? Ooh, this is probably the main bad guy's room. I'm like,
you know what the
I just
ironic
killed the
thing
boss.
is that, like, if I recall correctly, you used a Octopus to kill that guy, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You also showed Vega, I appreciate Octopus, so theoretically that might happen again.
Well, to be fair, the reason why it was so one-sided was because I was able to sneak up and get a surprise round.
Gotcha, yeah.
So I was able to grab it with my tentacle before he even had a chance to react.
And even then, the bugbear just went to the furthest away point of the room, which there was no exit, and Octopus has pretty good reach.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah. I know, that was good. Even though it was quite funny, we're playing Curse of Strahd at the moment. You got to bear in mind, this is a party of 3 level 3s. So, you know,
Below the
fairly
recommended.
small. Below the recommended and kind of small in comparisons. Yeah, they almost died in the first encounter. The first encounter was pretty much to say, look, this is going to be tough. You can run away if you want to.
Yeah.
And they decided not to.
Well, we technically did decide to run away. It just took us a moment.
After I gave the hints massively to run away.
Well, that was them. My character would have tried to stay and fight the entire time.
Oh yeah.
How much experience are we at on Doggos?
What you see there?
Okay, because remember, did you update mine with everyone else's?
Yes.
Okay, because it's still the same. You said you were going to do it and the number was going to change, but mine's still the same.
I've already updated it. Check the better one.
I can't.
Oh, hang on. I don't have my laptop with me.
Conrad, can you,
Yeah, sure, I'll check.
Yeah, just check Cookie.
Let me see.
I should probably make that a separate window so no spoilery stuff.
Oh yeah, so that window does thing work.
What
watch
window thing?
boom. Watch see
Oh, yeah.
then boom.
Yeah, when he first brought it up, I thought he was talking about because you can manually, type out commands,
Yeah.
and there's a way to say, like with commands, and I thought that he was telling everyone to do that. And I was like,
Mhm.
dude, that would waste a lot of time. And then, like I was like, but it didn't seem like he would suggest that, so that seems a little
Mhm.
weird. So then I double checked it. And I was like, oh yeah, this little feature.
Looks like I think mine updated.
How much experience do you have?
1700.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the
I
hell?
updated it.
What's Bella's?
1700.
Okay.
Everyone is 1700.
Okay, because I saw the 1700 and you said you needed to update it. So I was assuming that that number was going to change. So
Like,
I know what
I
probably
might be referring to the other one.
Wait, what?
You know, the
Oh, no, this is a
tabletop one.
No, this is separate from that one.
Ah.
Yeah. I think you probably just forgot that you already did it.
Hmm.
You probably all did it at once and then you're like, oh, I need to change this.
Probably.
Oh, all the books. All the books.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like when I do want to look at the books, I sometimes get a little too excited because I'm like, ooh, I can get this, and I'm like, nope, gotta step back.
Oh, no, I was talking about, Daybor and his books.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because we need 1,000 XP to get to the next level. And I honestly like if, let me look up the,
That reminds me, I have a question for you guys. If
Okay.
you guys had to make a doggo name group, what would you think it would be? I already know Damon's answer in regards to that.
well, Daybork's answer.
Oh yeah.
I personally would not have an issue with it. Daybork would.
What name?
Huh? No, he would not like. This is something that will probably come up in RP when it's discussed, because us as characters would need to discuss it. But Daybork wouldn't want us to be known for just being dogs.
Okay.
So he wouldn't want anything, directly
Dog related.
Because he doesn't want people to just view us as just dogs. Like, he understands how great dogs are and how stuff like that, but he doesn't want everyone else to just be like, oh, it's the dog group.
I can see that. Yeah, okay. I do kind of want like a punny like dog joke in there though. That's me personally.
I don't know. There's kid TV show called Paw Patrol, and it's basically about dogs that can walk and talk all dog
Yeah,
like,
we're
but they're
definitely not
like
calling
some of them
ourselves Paw
police
Patrol.
officers, some of them are rescue people, some of them
Paw
are
Patrol.
firefighters.
Definitely not. This is now me and Daybork in agreement. No Paw Patrol. I have a serious
Paw Patrol.
disgust for Paw Patrol.
Oh, it's adorable.
Also, it's overused. There's literally an episode of Doom Patrol that's called Paw Patrol, I believe. There's the show, there's the toy line, there's a kid book series, there's a comic. It's over.
So it's already an established brand. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. We're unique,
Yeah.
okay? How unique is the Onyx Circle?
The funny thing is, like, that name was like given to us, and like
It wasn't given. I would like to raise the point that you all voted on it. I never,
No, we all. That's right.
I never
we
once
did vote
say
on
Onyx Circle. You guys came up
Yeah.
with the Onyx Circle. The only
Fair
part
enough.
when it was stated, I just because it was like a mix of ideas to combine the two into the Onyx Circle. That's why I had Daemissaries do it. That was it.
it. See, that was me. Like, See, that was me for just remembering the RP version of it, not like the. That was my bad.
Yeah, because you guys voted on that shit. Don't put that on me. Funny thing though is I later admitted to Mickey that I knew you guys were gonna choose that one, and I had already typed up the Onyx Circle as you guys' name, It was the top two choices I thought you guys were gonna go with.
Mm-hmm.
I just throw the goblin.
What?
Onyx balls.
No, we can't rip off the Onyx Circle.
It's like a little side branch of Onyx Circle.
No.
Onyx balls.
And it's like the same flag, but instead of the Ouroboros dragon, it's just a black paw.
I just had an idea, but it was just kind of tail
What's the
hunters.
idea? Yeah, that
Yeah.
also works.
Only if
It
it's
doesn't
not
really work though.
only if it's not spelled Tail, it's spelled Tale.
Mm.
So it's tail hunters, you know, because we're, you know, like we use tails and stuff to like hunt down and do stuff. But you know, like again, not directly dog. You know, like it's a soft wink.
Mhm. The funny thing is that, like, you know, I don't know why, but like if there's that connotation too, like, you know, I'm gonna get some tail tonight. It just
Oh dear.
yeah, I know. Like, so it doesn't really work for the, you know, cute doggos aesthetic.
I will not confirm or deny because as a DM, I am honestly not sure if I can pull this off of having a doggo bluff. I will not confirm that nor deny that as of yet.
Well, I mean, also we got to think about our name and how it would, you know, be impacted or used outside. Like, you know, like we're going into like the Sword Coaster, you know, like some place, and we're like, we're the Paw Patrol.
It's like, okay, really, like yeah.
Really, guys, like if Mickey, if you as a DM do not make a big deal about other people not like having any confidence or, you know, not laughing at us, I'm calling bullshit right there. Like, I'm calling BS.
At the very least, we would get like pity, like, oh, of course you are, kind of, you know.
Not even that. It depends on where we're doing this. Like, if we're, you know,
That's true, yeah.
if we're in the Yawning Portal and surrounded by all these other adventurers and otherworldly, hi guys, the Paw Patrol is here. They would just look at us and probably kick us in the well. Or in the Yawning Portal. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, see, that is the disadvantage of having a cute name. It's just kind of like it's not going to look seriously.
Yeah.
That's when you use your charm doggo ability and just charm them.
Well, you know, Cookie doesn't have a good charm doggo stats, as we recently learned. I don't think I ever saw, like, I didn't, like, think about that at first, but I'm like, after that, you know, attempt, I'm like, wow, she is not a charming doggo.
Dabork is.
Yeah, he is.
He's a big floofer.
It was kind of funny because, like, you can ask Miki, like,
Mhm.
I kind of designed Dabork to be, you know, the geeky kind of shut-in character.
Yeah.
Like, not really talking and stuff like that. And it was just funny, like, I was planning on doing that. Like, even, like, when we went to the store and stuff, like, I was letting Chooseword talk. And then it was just going so goddamn bad. I'm just like,
It was.
oh god, I don't want us to get fucked over, so let me step in the charismatic one. I'm like, god damn it.
What was it, like, we was calling the map maker ma'am or some
Yeah.
shit like that?
Yeah,
and, like,
he was
insisting on it?
gender human. Yep. Gender
Oh,
human.
God. I was like, oh, God, someone stop him.
That's why Dabork just pushed his face and let him slide down his back.
It's like, I already rolled kind of shitty and don't add to it.
Yeah, Dabork's charm person is pretty fucking pimp. I think he has the highest DC in the party for it.
Nice.
It's like, what is Cookie's DC for charm person?
8.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I know, it was embarrassing.
What? No, I'm going to find out what spell is this now.
That's why I was like lucky because they actually did fail the check. Like, but I'm like, it's funny when I was looking up, I'm like, 8? Like, that's what you got?
Well, you gotta remember, you know, his spellcasting is charisma. So,
Yeah.
like, there's really no difference when he uses it compared to, like, any other spell he uses. So he has, you know, the same DC, basically.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like against the party. I don't know what the rest of your guys' charisma score. I only know Cookies, and I could kind of guess what Chooseworth is sitting around, just based off of that, one roll he did. But yeah, I am just gonna assume that the big guy probably has the most charisma.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I swear to God, I better not get stuck into another face of the group roll.
The reluctant leader. Where have I heard that before?
Jesus Christ. Basically, with all my characters.
I was actually referencing Conrad, but sure.
I mean, it's... I have had to hard shove you into that role.
You really had to, yeah.
Yeah, I really had to, because everyone else was just like Homer Simpson disappearing, like, who's your leader? Everyone just shuts up. Conrad begrudgingly raises his hand.
That's what I'm saying, reluctant leader. Hope anyone listens to him anyway.
Maybe that's why Conrad has been trying to get Jacques better. Maybe that's his goal. He's like, you know what, fuck this. Like, if Jacques becomes okay, then he can deal with all this bullshit.
Maybe he can get this group in line, because I can't. You
never know. People may change soon.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? Definitely.
Okay.
You guys are all going to have your own little thing coming up. Why do you think it's taking so much effort on my end? Because, I have to be a good DM / psychiatrist / mentor /
Therapist.
Yeah, so...
Damon, the man of many jobs.
That's just being a DM.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think I was so happy about, trying to pawn off, every other week on someone else?
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are coming to me for everything. I need some break.
Yeah, of course.
I have social life now. So I like to spend time, not, dealing with everything.
I actually try not to come to you with the Conrad stuff as much.
No, come at me with anything you got. Trust me. It's just, I needed a little bit of space, so that's why we came up with the whole ordeal of swapping every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't even think I remember the last time I talked about Conrad stuff.
I mean, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's a while.
Yeah. Plus, it also rises and falls depending on the situation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you guys have a bad habit of losing your shit once stuff gets bad.
Yes.
You don't know that there's already proof within the campaign that things go from dark to good to dark to good to
Mm-hmm.
There's a flow.
Yep.
And it's not just gonna change every other session. It's gonna stick with what's going on in the campaign at the time.
Yeah.
So you guys gotta understand that. Yeah, there's gonna be some downsides, but just
stick through it.
Yeah, stick through it. Otherwise, you guys will get yourselves worked up, and it'll just make Elwith seem that more daunting. And it's already daunting enough, okay? You guys don't.
It really is.
That's my job. My job is to make it difficult. Your guys' job is to just be like, okay, how do we circumvent this, and how to make it,
Yeah. I'm so glad we got that blood thing, because that just takes care of a huge problem.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's a stopgap, but thank goodness.
I was so.
I remember saying to in few sessions before, I was like, can we have a flask of never-ending blood? No.
Because again, technically, you don't have a flask of never-ending blood.
Yeah, it's not never-ending.
Technically, but it's good enough for now.
Yeah.
For now. Give it one out and that's withdrawal symptoms all over again.
There's one thing I was considering, but it's kind of a weird ask. I mean, Alcor said he already was gathering blood. I mean, is it any harm in him gathering more?
Yeah, well, you guys also don't understand how long it took him to acquire this amount.
That is true. Yeah, we don't. And plus, imagine it's still kind of weird, asking him to basically murder people.
You don't know if he murdered people.
True.
You can take a lot of blood out of a person without killing them.
Yeah. Can we just get a blood bank on standby? Just get a couple people, every week, just dump blood in there.
I mean, theoretically, there's already a mechanic in place.
Fair enough.
Yeah. With the vampires, during a short rest or a long rest, you guys can basically spend one of your healing surges to feed them. There's actually a mechanic within the vampire book for that.
That makes sense, yeah.
He actually heals quite a lot from that. Yeah, it's actually very fucking useful.
So, Conrad, you're volunteering?
Did I say I was volunteering?
You didn't say you wasn't volunteering.
If I recall correctly, Ruya actually volunteered for that role, so.
Yeah.
And he does like the virgin blood.
I mean, like, you did say that was reversed, so, yeah.
No, I still could bullshit on that.
I'm sorry.
Physically, maybe so, but in my heart and mind, no.
Yes. We've already established this. Your memories
Yeah.
are still there. To you still have all the experience and memories of it happening. It's just physically,
Yeah,
it's been reverted.
that's true, yeah.
If anything, you should be happy because you're like, woohoo, like I'm twice a virgin. Now, if
I mean,
things,
why would that make anyone happy?
well,
Yeah.
because imagine giving up your virginity to someone and it not working out.
But there was no reason for it not to work out.
I mean, you don't know. He could also
I
be a
know.
really mass liar and like maybe he has another family or some shit.
Yeah, whereas I switched families before, she can do it again.
Yeah, but what if he chooses them over you?
Then she goes into her drow instincts and kills them all.
I like how you keep on, like, referring to it as her drow instincts, like it's innate.
Yeah.
It's really not.
I've had E numbers, so I'm like,
Fair enough.
Yeah, once during a short rest, an ally adjacent to you can willingly lose one healing surge to allow you to regain hit points equal to your bloodied value. You regain hit points equal to your bloodied value. I don't know why they have that twice. If you end a short rest with more healing surges than your usual number of healing surges for the day, you lose any extra healing surges beyond that number, but regain all your hit points.
Cool.
Yeah, but you guys also gotta remember, like, before his transformation to vampirism, like, he had a shit ton of healing surges. Now he don't. Being a vampire means that you have 2 healing surges.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's it at? Oh.
Vampires get the literal munchies.
Yeah, there's a way to, like, they can increase their healing surges. But at most, I believe they can have 4, which he has the 4.
Gotcha.
But still, that's not a lot. Like,
It really isn't, yeah.
but the perk of that is like he doesn't necessarily need to heal because of his regeneration and stuff like that. So
That's true, yeah.
But basically the tactic with that is you never heal him. You don't use your healing magic on him. He just tries to maintain at least bloodied value. And then after combat and stuff like that, if he's really hurt, instead of spending magical stuff or potions and stuff like that, just let him grab a healing surge off of someone. And if he's at now 5 healing surges, once he finishes that rest, he's just fully healed.
Yeah.
1 healing surge. But even he's still getting used to all of that, so that's why he hasn't used this yet. Because there's a lot of stuff in the book for vampirism that I basically have a list crossed off of things he can't do or hasn't like dived into yet. I'm treating him like a level 1 vampire. And as he's going through and drinking blood and experimenting with stuff, like that's when he's slowly adding more and more abilities to his list. That's why still right now there's more sorcerer abilities on his power card than vampire, even though the hybrid rules means that you're supposed to have half and half. it's an RP element. So as he
Yeah.
progresses, he'll slowly lose the sorcerer abilities and lean heavier to the vampirism if he chooses to. And so far,
One thing
with what you guys have been doing about just being totally accepting of his stuff is he's not as worried about his vampirism stuff, and with the blood,
Mhm.
you know, there's even less of a reason.
Yeah.
So you guys may see him dive more into that. Maybe.
One thing I'm curious about is the whole cake thing. Was that also like kind of like because like he was having more blood, he was actually able to actually somewhat sense
Yes.
things more?
There's a lot of lore about vampires, not just in D&D.
Yeah.
But there's examples of it in D&D as well as like vampires who are able to eat and consume food. And that's usually to like play into society, but there are some vampires who eat just because they enjoy the flavor, and in almost all instances those are older vampires who don't starve themselves. They're well-fed vampires that, because when they're hungry, that's all they want. Everything else loses taste. It's disgusting. It's only once they're very well fed and they're probably a little older that they can actually start taking in food.
I'm wondering if they just kind of like, you know, mix it like, you know, bloodied wine sort of thing.
I mean, or just drink.
Very raw steak.
Because you got to remember, if you're adding blood
that's
to
true.
it,
Yeah.
if you're adding blood to it, they're gonna want the blood over anything else. So at that point, it's like, it's basically like this. What's your favorite drink, Conrad?
Whiskey, old fashioned.
So you could just down it by the gallon. That's what I'm asking for.
Not by the gallon.
Okay,
Fucking
give me
cocktail, but
okay, give me a food then. Okay, your favorite food.
See, it's hard to think of because,
Okay,
like,
just-
I can't think.
Just give me one of your tops. Should I? Okay, I'm trying to prove a point, and you're making this
Okay.
longer and more difficult.
Sorry. Pollo fundido. So I'll say that. Then,
Okay, now you love it, right? It's delicious.
Yeah. Damn right
it's
I
awesome.
do. Yeah.
Okay, now imagine if someone made that and then took a bottle of garlic powder and dumped it on it. Would you still like it?
No.
Okay, that's basically.
I mean, like, I even like garlic, but like not that much. No?
Yeah, that's basically the equivalent of what's happening if you're giving a vampire something mixed with blood. They want the blood, so why would you water it down or add anything to it if that's all they want?
So, like, in the case of when, like, you know, Ruya gave her, you know, intoxicated blood over, was that like kind of like the same thing?
Actually, that's one of the ways that vampires in a lot of lore will actually enjoy alcohol and drugs and stuff is, like Vampire the Masquerade. Like there's stuff in there that if you can become addicted to a certain type of blood of like alcoholics or drug addicts and stuff like that because you're getting some of that through their blood. So yes, what you consume can change your blood.
Yeah.
Like it really does. And you know, there are certain types of bloods and stuff that they might preference. Like, you know, Jacques may now have a preference for Drow virgin blood.
Yeah.
You say that until they bone, and now he's starting to look at other Drow women. And you're like, what the fuck? Am I not good enough? Am I not good enough for you anymore? Like, I said, what if? Okay, I didn't say this was gonna happen. Jesus Christ, you make me feel bad instantly when I'm saying, like, I gotta use.
See,
that.
I'm actually.
So
I'm actually now. Okay, yeah. I'm just like imagining Ruya just gets shit's face and like, you know, she's like, "Hey, have a bite, Jock," and it's like basically them having a night out.
Yeah. Really just like cast like not even one cloud of darkness, just two clouds of darknesses over the top of each other and just sits in the corner. Like,
Aww. I am wondering how much blood he does need to make sure he's not hungry during fun time, so to speak.
I imagine it would be a heck of a ton. Bear in mind, not only is it to enjoy sexy fun times, it's more not to kill the person he's
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. With. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does he like just have to be like drinking from the bottle during? I mean,
possibly. Like, normally, like in general, when people get into that state, they act more on instinct kind
Yeah.
of rather than anything else.
Yeah.
So that might be sure. I mean, there are vampire stories where, you know, that sort of stuff happens and they've just killed the other person, not even through fighting, just through their own strength
Yeah.
and stuff. They are physically stronger rather than anything else.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's definitely something the two of you want to sort out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, God. I just had a...
Well,
I don't know, like, you get Jock drunk, and it's just like... It's like, hello, Jock.
get Chuck drunk by getting Maria drunk. Yeah. It's so good. I just gonna say there's well, at the very least, 2 party members that's fucked monsters. Yay!
Mhm. Yeah, like... I think... yeah.
Yeah.
I think, let's see what, you know, Maria's been with Jock, Raina's been with Conrad, and Damasaries and Jock. And, Conrad's
Well,
been
Raina
with...
hasn't. I wouldn't technically count as Raina being with Chuck. More in the case of, yeah, she was giving it to him, but they actually didn't do the deed, so to speak.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It
who
was
didn't
just
do
like
the
a quick-
deed?
Raina,
Raina
then
was-
Jock.
I mean, you know, she got to get a little bit of the glory, but that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're just discussing, does that really count, though?
That doesn't
Okay. Alright, well then it's just, you know, Raina and Damasaries and Conrad, and then Conrad and Raina and, you know, it's called Nat.
I mean, that's
Then,
if you're
yeah.
saying sex. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to include blowjobs into that list, I guess.
Well, because, like, if we're adding blowjobs to the list, then it's just, you know, Raina adding Jock to
Also,
the list.
that list may not be completely accurate.
How so?
Oh, well, you guys have been passed out a few times.
Oh, God.
Conrad,
This is where you...
Conrad immediately remembered that party that Damasaries threw where you all woke up with no memory of what happened.
Yep.
Except for me, because I went there. I
Yeah.
think.
I know, like, I thought it was funny because I remember one time we were talking about how many people Conrad slept with, and you're like, well, it's actually more than that. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, let's just say Sins and Conrad's list may be a little different than what they know.
Oh, God. Oh, poor
Turns out it was
Conrad.
the 2 of them together.
The world
Well,
may
you
never
already
know.
think they happened that. You
I
already
mean,
think that
there's
happened.
a few people who do know.
Fair enough.
Maybe something to ask Lady Cat. Lady Cat, okay, you didn't tell us that one time, but you know, just in case we never see each other, can you please finally tell us who did we fuck? I mean, each other. As Sin and Conrad both look at each other like, holy shit, I was only joking that one time. No, I mean, I guess you guys would have to see.
Yep.
I did ask if Maria heard anything in the commotion because I mean she was technically in the building. She did not.
Well, I imagine, you know, just walking by Scott Sound for photos, you would hear a lot of noise coming from Payne's room.
Yeah. The walls may seem thin, but they're surprisingly, like, you can't hear a lot of things from room to room.
Yep. I just imagine, like, you know, you just, like, hear this, like, loud, like, sounds, and it's just, like, the room rocking, and it's just, like, you know, like, guys, keep it down, good God.
I mean, the only reason you guys heard when the Platinum Band was under attack is because something happened that was the equivalent of a thunderclap.
Hmm.
And even then, not all of you guys heard it.
That's true.
Something's definitely up at the squawking box.
I mean, we couldn't even see into it with the, that room.
I also
The-
like
what
how
do
you
you call
guys
it?
never questioned Felton at that last little bit.
Well, it was, like, kind of a pressing moment at the time. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? It's like, we gotta keep going. Questions for later.
Well, you guys never raised the questions. I figured you guys would try to ask me or something.
Fair enough.
I was waiting for someone like, what spell did Felton use to do that?
Who says it was a spell?
That's literally the answer I would have gave.
Knew it.
I mean, you've been playing with me now for how long?
Yeah. I know your moves, Damon.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm becoming predictable. Chocolate bleu. That's what I'll just start speaking different languages.
Sorry, I heard you say Jacques. Like Jacques.
Yeah.
I even tried infiltrating the DM, but it didn't work. Sorry, Conrad. I panicked.
And she also realized how futile it is to try to look at my folders.
They were open by accident, I will say that much, but I didn't understand a word of it.
It's not just that. It's I don't have one folder.
Yeah, I think you said you had like 10,000 or whatever.
No, I'm saying there are 3 separate copies of my entire D&D folder.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are false ones.
Ah. Other thing I remember that you told me was that there's like a file or whatever for Conrad named Turkey Legs, and you just declined to say more than that.
Yep, I still got that file too. Trust me, there's all over. Like Cletus has one called Rusty Nail. Nat has one called Stinky Wiener. Marina has one that's called Dirty Turtle.
Kind of was really fun.
I gotta open up the folder. I honestly don't remember off the top of my head. There's one called Queen of Darkness. There's one called Penile Implant.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right? I thought it was for Cletus.
No, that's in your folder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they're code words that I understand, but
Apparently,
I'm telling
Johnson
you,
did something.
you guys could guess a long time and never guess what it's about.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like the Queen of Darkness one has nothing to do with darkness.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a reference to another media.
Immediately started Google searches.
Sure, go ahead. And I guarantee
Yeah,
you,
I feel like
you'll find maybe like 5 or 10 different things with that name, and it's a
I imagine you find a lot.
and it's a specific
Yeah.
thing in a specific book about a character that isn't the Queen of Darkness that's referred to in that media. So yeah.
See, one thing I'm actually still curious about is like, it's funny because in regards to the latest possum art, I won't give any more than that. There's this one moment in where one of the last moments of pain, she mentions something called a bridge, and I had no idea what she meant by that. I'm still wondering what she meant by that.
For what?
During their last moments together.
Okay.
She mentions a bridge in some regard. Like, can't remember the context of it. Oh yeah, like, she was just, I don't know, just talking about some plans. She gave a devilish grin.
To what? Sorry, it broke up a little bit.
Hang on, let me a sec.
Because this is the DM. Because
Hello?
because you're not giving me enough trigger words for it to jog my memory. Because I know a lot of stuff that she has said to you, so you're not really limiting it.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think of a way to... So, like, she was having a conversation with him about, like, how he needs something to, like, take his mind off things. You know, this shiny thing.
Okay.
During that conversation, like, the context of it was, like, it's like, yeah, you need something to have some fun, you know, or whatever. Like, oh, like a bridge. And then, like, she just kind of, he's like, what the fuck do you mean by that? And she's like, I don't know. Then she made a devilish grin.
I'd have to recheck it, honestly.
Yeah. I said, I don't know the context of it, so that's why I can't, like, really...
It could have just been pain being pain.
It literally could have, yeah.
Pickled wieners. Conrad, look at my pickled wieners.
Hey, I'll be back. I actually gotta get some laundry.
Amiki, look at my pickled wieners. Can you see my pickled wieners?
I'll be
I
back.
just had dinner. I don't want to see pickled wieners.
Oh, look at my pickled wieners.
Yeah.
They're actually really good.
It's okay.
Okay, and on this note, since we only have about an hour and a half until our next stream, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one. It was fun chatting with you guys, and I hope anyone who was in the channel enjoyed it. I'll be trying to do this more and more. I'll try to come up with organized, format and maybe more ideas, but I'm just, spitballing. I want us to have a little bit more activity on our channel other than just D&D. So thank you all for joining, and I will be back another time to do another one of these streams. So bye bye.
Bye bye.